Hey guys, I'm just gonna say, as a result of the previous videos, I have found that it's been rather taxing on my throat. I'm not sure why, as I've, talked for hours before and had no problems. I'm gonna try to talk a bit quieter and maybe slower. In exchange, that may make the videos a bit longer, but you can feel free to use the YouTube fast forward option to watch on faster speeds if that will help. And in this game, we're going to feature a game between Katasis again on Scout versus the new Fizz TF deck, which has resurged because Burblefish is a very nutty card, and the nerf to Go Hard has made it so that it is a bit more free to roam the plains. So in this mulligan, you always keep Misfortune. Misfortune is just one of the best cards in the deck, hands down, and of course the rest of the cards weren't very curvy, so you want cards that improve your curve. While he didn't really find that, it's not a particularly big deal because he has all of his win conditions. Now in this position, Fleet Feather is very strong because it effectively does 3 challenger damage. So here with MF, this is well, with MF and a challenger, it means that they can't even block MF if they play something. But overall, MF is just such a strong card. And in this position, what would you do? You can take a moment, however you like, and think about what you would do in this position. So, if you've taken the time to think, there are two options right now. The option is to immediately attack, or to play Valor. Now, the thing is, this attack is very, very strong. The upside of playing Valor is essentially 4 face damage and 1 MF stack, assuming that our opponent plays no cards. However, the problem is that our opponent runs multiple Get Exciteds, and this attack is already very strong. Having Sharp Sight mana all the time gives us a lot of leeway and our opponent a lot less counterplay, because assuming that our MF survives, whether or not she levels isn't even that important. So of course, if we play Valor and they don't do anything, it's a big win. But if we don't play Valor, we're still winning. So in this position, when you're winning, you should just avoid any play that's not safe. Just focus on the safe and solid plays in a position that will make you continue to be in a winning position, essentially. So this is basically the opposite of playing when you're losing. If you're winning, there's no need to take risks. And if you're losing, then you have to take risks. Now in this position, we're going to play Quinn next turn. So there's not really any reason to play Pool Shark, and even less reason to play Brightsteel Protector, as that is an attack token card. Now, this is another critical moment where we play Quinn. And again, in this position, our opponent passes. So now the biggest question is, how do you attack? And if so, how do you attack? So the main question is, we can end the round. And that if we do, it means we win 5 mana. And a key card that we have to worry about here is Suit Up. So now this is actually a very similar position from round 3, where our opponent has mana and we can choose to either commit and attack, or we can choose to pass. Well, not in round 3 it wasn't technically passing, but it was kind of similar. And so here, if we were to take the attack, the only thing it really does is give us an extra Quinn stack. And while leveled up Quinn is strong, it's not as strong as 5 mana. So the final result is that passing is overall the correct play, and actually Katasis gets extra rewarded for passing because he top decks Cythria. But overall, this is not a great attack, because if, for example, they had Suit Up, you're gonna have to essentially commit the Sharp Sight just to save your unit. They're gonna have a really strong play. And also, we know that our opponent doesn't have Twisted Fate, which is very good for us. Of course, if they did have Twisted Fate and we had Ranger's Resolve, it would then be bad for us, but you still have to go for the red card from that position. So this Cythria is overall pretty nutty. Again, there's no so in this position, some people might be tempted to play the Relentless Pursuit for 2 Quinn stacks. However, the problem is that you would have to attack, and it's Relentless Pursuit is going to be very strong no matter what, and there's no reason to do it before our opponent spends his mana, because right now if we pass, our opponent again loses all of his mana, and then we can use our Pursuit in a turn where we have our mana. There's no reason to rush our plays if we have no mana and our opponent has their mana, when the card that we want to play is going to be strong later on anyway. So now in this position, the main reason that Katasis passes, because even though we can get an extra Quinn stack, rather than tunneling on leveling up Quinn, you should focus on more straightforward plays. You shouldn't focus on tunnel on these high value, I can level up my Quinn and get free valors. The thing here is that if we were to Pursuit after we attack with Cithria, our scout attack will have Fearsome. This is very big. So rather than using Pursuit for 2 attacks, we use Pursuit for so that our Fearsome value essentially gets triggered an extra time. So basically the idea is that rather than getting extra scout attack, we get an extra our 1 scout attack has the Cithria buff. That's the main decision that is made here. Now this is perfectly fine. The reason we're not too bothered with trying to save it is because we have well, not save it, try to kill the Fizz, is because we have so many attacks. It's better to develop, play tons of units, and then have the mana for our Pursuit, our spells. If we were to play Sharpsight just to kill the Fizz, we wouldn't be able to play all of our cards, which is essentially Brightsteel, Island Navigator, and Pursuit. So in this position, the reason he Pursuits now is simply to check what our opponent does, because if our opponent does nothing, there's a chance he attacks right away. The Island Navigator only really adds, expected 3 damage. It's not really a big deal since the Island Navigator attacks won't have Fearsome. And now that our opponent is spending his mana, we should just play the Island Navigator. We don't have to worry about Quinn magically dying. We don't have to worry about anything. We just go for maximum amounts of damage. If our opponent magically survives, which I don't think is even possible right now, then at least they won't have ways to represent lethal next round. So we'll just win on the next attack token anyway. So as you can see, while Quinn level up is a strong effect, there's right now when you have such a good position, there's no reason to make concessions to do it and get the level up stacks, which is the same reason that there was no reason to commit to Valor on turn 3 and tapping out of mana. And so in this position, of course, you have the option of playing Pool Shark for 2 extra damage, but it is absolutely guaranteed lethal. There's not really any reason to do it. It's the same thing either way. It's a guaranteed win whether he plays the Pool Shark or not. So this was a rather short video, but I thought that I was featuring a lot of games where you're mostly playing from behind. I thought I would feature a game where you're actually winning, because it's actually the opposite. From behind, you have to take risks, and here you do make the safe plays. This is probably the first video I'm showing where you actually have to make the safe plays instead of taking risks. Because usually people are more inclined to save plays naturally. I hope you enjoyed. This was a different one, and I hope you found it interesting. If you liked it, again, consider sharing it. Now, subscribing, I don't actually know what subscribing does. I think YouTube just takes that as you want to see more videos, but I'm not actually sure. Liking the video, you can do that. It just feeds YouTube's algorithm. I don't really end up seeing those, but if you want to let me know what you think, have any suggestions, or if you think I missed a play, I'll leave it in the comment section, and if I think that you suggested something that I missed, I'll pin it. So I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you for watching.